You're listening to the Act As If podcast with Coach Roel. Real life success stories in business and investing as they happen. And now, here's your host, Coach Roel.
Welcome back to this episode of the Act As If podcast with yours truly, Coach Roel. This is actually part 2 of our interview with Tom and Annmarie and Tom. So previous part, if you didn't catch it, make sure you go and listen to that one. We were doing the Act As If game. So we were role playing, we were pretending, we were dreaming as if we were living the life that we wanted to live. And so now we're going to decompress and just kind of talk about the experience since like the real life, I guess, kind of like the real life experience from when we first spoke last week. At the time of this recording, we spoke last week and we talked about the Act As If method. And then just a few minutes ago, we re-recorded the first part of our episode, and Tom and Annmarie were acting as if. And now we're going to find out the suspenseful climax of, how much of that was act as if and how much of it was real, how much of it was in motion, and just kind of speak freely about it. So welcome back, Tom and Annmarie.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Great. So reality, where are you actually physically at the time of this recording?
Okay, well, we're in Brampton at home right now.
You're in Brampton. Okay. And then last time you said you were where?
Moncton,
you acted as if. Moncton, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Okay. How was that? So we spent about 15, 20 minutes or so pretending that you already had the lifestyle that you aspired to.
Right.
So initial thoughts, just open forum.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, for us, it is very realistic, actually, for us, because we are already actually real estate investors.
But I think it's taken us that step further. It's making us realize, yes, we can do what we want to set out. Right now, yes, we are real estate investors part-time. And this now next step is it really acting as if it's really putting it out there that this is what we're going to do and this is what's going to happen over the next year. Mm-hmm. So
and it has helped to create that plan, or that make the picture clearer to the things that we might be doing, activities that we might be doing, right? Or
that you will be doing.
Yeah, that's right. We will be doing.
Right.
But we're kind of like painting all of those different pictures. So, yes, some of it maybe not necessarily so sure, but now as it came out, now it's a food for thought, and it's going to grow. Right. It's a seed that'll grow.
It's setting those goals, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not setting those goals, where are you going to be, right? So this is what we want to see happen over the next year. And it's putting it in our mind, this is what we're going to be doing. And now it's the next step to get us to where we see ourselves next year.
So give us a quick summary of where you guys are at now, like the reality of where you're starting from.
Okay. Or it can be down in,
or here,
just down in Florida, or
like you're here, you're in Brampton today. You're still both working, so you're not yet retired in the way that we spoke about last time. So just like a quick snapshot, because listeners, viewers of this, they will have seen part 1, and you were totally believable that was all actually happening. So what's the actual reality at the time of this recording? How would you describe yourselves?
Okay.
Your lifestyle.
So we're coming up anyways. At the end of August, I'm supposed to be working part-time.
Okay.
So now the part-time might last a lot longer. I'm not necessarily sure. But we kind of had made the plan, Annmarie and I, that we will retire, right? We are making some passive income and to help to complement. It's not going to replace the job, but it's going to come close, right?
Mm-hmm.
So both Annmarie and I, we are going to retire you can say at the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
And we are heading down to Florida, or down to Orlando for a 2-year conference for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's already been planned. And we are going to be buying the first property. We have been talking to some mortgage agents. And so that's in the works. And
we have a couple properties here. We have, actually, one of the videos I seen, you talked about Hanson. You sold a place on Hanson. Well, we have 2 properties on Hanson right now. We are actually renovating one right now. We're going to sell it. And that will give us a little bit of cash for maybe purchasing a place down there and maybe doing some other investments as well with that money. So it's going to be our little bit of nest egg to help us launch our Florida real estate journey down there. So that's right now we're really busy with the rentals because we're doing it ourselves. And one of the things I want to learn is when we're down in Florida, how to hire contractors to do all the work. Because right now we're painting and doing floors and bathrooms and whatnot. So I don't want to do that in Florida. I want to maybe pick up a property that's not pretty and then work on it and maybe flip it over and use that money to buy other properties as well.
Right. And then Annmarie, are you both currently working from home?
I work, part-time at home and then part-time in the office. So a little bit of both. I only work about 30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. And then how much these days do you get to travel throughout the year?
We have 4 weeks.
You have 4 weeks. So that part you had mentioned before. So 4 weeks. And then by contrast, you're traveling kind of throughout the year. It's almost like it seemed I don't think we actually discussed it specifically, but in your act as if, how much time would you be splitting between, say, Brampton and not Brampton? Or Brampton, Florida, and elsewhere, right? What would that?
Well, the winter times we want to be in a warmer climate. We don't want to be in Ontario. I'm going to say November to March, end of March. We don't want to be there. So anywhere but Brampton, Ontario, anywhere north of the border. We want to be in a warm climate. During this, we always took our 4 weeks. Actually, Tom only has 3 weeks. So when we go away, I have 4. Tom would always do a little bit of work while we were on vacation as well to make up for that extra week. So we don't want any more of that. And then we never traveled really during the summertime, but it's always been my goal. I want to journey across this. We live in a great country. And I want to see the country, but then I can take advantage of the investments that I want to do across the country. So I'm not I've read in places that and it's so true. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So I want to diversify and have different types of properties in different locations.
Mm-hmm. And so the exercise we did over the last few days about the I am statements and trying to get yourself into character, how was that? What sorts of things did you implement from those exercises? Like you wrote it down. I know you did that. Did you post anything up? Did you discuss? What was that process like between the two of you?
I guess I have mine on my phone, so that I can look at it before going to bed. I can look at it when I happen to wake up, and then throughout the times of the day. I still want to build because mine was short. Mine's only a paragraph, but I have been trying to figure out some wording, I guess, for the other parts, like the legacy, and also like learning and also that we have the ability, wherever we go, we actually attract people who want to learn about our real estate journey, and that they want to partner with us on the next JV opportunity that we have. So it's to add to it. I know that it may not necessarily be short, but mine happens to be a little bit longer.
And how often would you review it? So you mean it was on your phone? You would printed it out or typed it out on your phone?
Yes.
And how would you review it? Well, did you have like a routine at all?
Yeah. So in the morning, at night, before going to bed, and then actually throughout the day. And so it's a little bit of a break. And if I happen to be eating, I'll actually bring it up and then I would look at it.
And what's that experience been like compared to a week ago? Because it was less than a week that I suggested those exercises. Did you notice any difference at all, or what's any change?
I guess it does, because it is actually self-talk, and then you're making your mind believe in what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just reinforces it. So change-wise might be a little bit early, but I know that it has some effects. And so now we can be a lot more confident, because now it's almost like a partial script in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And that script can be almost like an elevator speech. I can make it short. I know what to say if I had to talk to somebody. And actually, as they happen to ask me what I do, I'm a real estate investor. We both actually invest into multiple different investment strategies. So I can say that, and it actually rolls off the tongue. And
nice.
The more confident that I become in it, then the more that I'm going to believe it.
Mm-hmm. So you're able to articulate, to be able to describe what is your intention. How about you, Annmarie? Even if it's incremental, any change, anything you notice about yourself since starting these simple exercises a few days ago?
I feel more confident, right? This is going to happen. I would say even, a couple of weeks ago, okay, we're going to try this. We're going to go down to Florida. We're going to give this a try and see how it goes, right? If it doesn't go so well, you know what? I can always get another job, sort of thing, right? So, but I'm not believing that anymore. I know when we go to Florida, we are going to start our Florida real estate encounters down there. And then I know when we get back from Florida, we're going to bring back and do some more investing here. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do it to the point where we're having a job, but I also want to keep it growing, but it's developing the team, right? Mm-hmm. I can see where there's the strength in numbers, and then just delegate what needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. So that's become more solidified for you. You say you're more confident. So as before, it was like, oh, it'd be nice, kind of giving yourself a safety net. We'll see how it goes. But then now it's like you're saying, it's going to happen. It's becoming more like a done deal. Is that accurate?
Yes. Yes.
And then with articulating it like out in the open, that sort of thing, what's the trend that you've seen from I think 5 days ago when we last spoke, as of this recording? What's the trajectory? What do you expect will happen, say, in the next couple of weeks or next few months in terms of confidence level?
It's just going to grow, because now at first it was always picking up my paper, because mine was a little bit different. I put it around the house in a couple of spots, and but now it's when I have a little bit of downtime, say at work, or when I'm doing something and the mind just wanders, it's been wandering back to my statements. And
interesting.
It's just solidifying things more and helping me believe more. So I think I need to keep posting and keep saying to myself these different statements to keep that excitement going. And then until we are actually living the process. And then at that point, I believe at that point it's not leaving the statements behind, but developing more statements. And just keeping that belief going and always looking to the future.
And what were you doing prior that was different from the last few days? What was your sort of goal setting process versus how it is now and going forward?
Goal setting?
It was kind of, I would probably say maybe on the cuff, right?
Okay.
And it was whatever that came to mind at the time. And maybe, and that could be good to work on. We should look at that. Right. It wasn't really, there wasn't really that roadmap. And now yes, we can certainly improve on it. We can certainly write it down to the steps that we're going to take. But at least we're at the point that we can do that, as opposed to just, throwing out ideas here and there. And if one happens to stick with Annmarie or either myself, then maybe we'll look into it. But we didn't really make it, we really didn't have a path to it.
It's off the wall, right? We look at this, but then it, because we never spoke it, it kind of, it slid down the wall and let's move on to something else.
Was there anything surprising or noteworthy that you heard from each other that gave you more clarity or that you learned about each other's visions? Because it was maybe some of the things that I didn't really think about. And it's like, I should have that.
Even when we were doing the act as if, it was like listening to Tom and saying, he has his ideas and I have my ideas, and it's bringing them together, right?
Yes.
Right, and then to come up with a common one that would work for both of us. Right. I guess I look at it as a definition of like the synergy, where it was whereas actually 1 + 1 is actually greater than 2, because obviously, we could work against each other, and then there is no synergy really, right? We just one complements the other. But now that we can work together, if we have the same goal, we can achieve a lot more than just the two, right?
Putting our minds together. Like, we both have ideas, but I'm finding now this is actually bringing out the fact that we should talk about our different ideas more clearly. Okay, this is what I see. What do you see? And it's tying our goals together as well, instead of, leaving my thoughts here. He can't read my thoughts and where I want to see our journey, and I can't see his. But when it brings us together so we can work with each other's goals and bring them and tie them together.
Interesting. That's great. Now, to close off this segment, and we're going to leave the door open to have you come back and be like, let's look at those old, that episode 1 recording and see how life has really changed. And certainly I'm excited to meet you guys in the flesh in October, this coming up. With in terms of similar type of question, how we finished last time, any kind of advice or encouragement you would give to others? Because this act as if method, it's not like I invented it. I just happened to articulate it in a way that is a little bit more digestible and understandable. For anyone who may be watching the video or listening to this as a podcast, what would you say in terms of the act as if exercise? Would you recommend it? What words of advice, if they wanted to give it a shot, what kinds of things could you say to that person or to those people?
I think it's definitely beneficial, because it's not just act as if towards real estate. This applies to everything that you do, right? So yes, real estate, I mean, it's good because that's why we're here. That's what got us together. But ACTIZIP can be applied to our everyday life, setting goals, whether if it's and whatever that it might be, whether if it's a vacation that you want to go on to, whether if it's a better job, whatever that's important to the individual, it's definitely important because it helps talk you into the walk, or as per se, and it gives you a plan. It gives you something that you can work towards, and then it actually allows you to commit because you're speaking it, and then you're also hearing it yourself, and then you're committing to yourself in order to achieve the goals that you want.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Annmarie? What would you say to somebody who says, "Oh, I want to do that. That sounds like fun"? What would you say to her?
I definitely believe in, because when you think of the mind, we all have those thoughts that are going on in our heads, right?
Yes.
It is because we're speaking it. We hear our voice back in our head as well. So when we speak the positive, we hear the positive, right? And it helps. There's so much negative thoughts that go on in our head. It's helping us. Helping me anyways, force out some of that negative talk. And I hear the positive, and I'm only speaking the positive. So it helps solidify everything that I want it to happen. So I hear the positive, and like Tom says, it's making me walk what I'm speaking. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm speaking it out loud. And it's putting it more ingrained in my head, because I can say it quietly in my head, but I think out loud, it just brings all the pieces together. I hear myself saying it, and it's okay to put it in think it in the head, but when you say it out loud, it's worth 10 times more than just saying it within the head, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Right? Definitely worth the journey is that positive self-talk when you think about it. I am, and that's what it is. I am a real estate investor, and I am an expert in the Florida real estate market. So mm-hmm. It's believing that before it happens, because then it mm-hmm. will happen.
Right. Yeah. And was there anything really challenging with changing it up, changing the wording from I'm going to do this, or I'd like to, because that's where we were at even just 5 days ago, right? As you were saying, even a few weeks ago, it'd be nice to do this, to that tiny little shift of I am doing this, as you were just saying, Annmarie. If anything, was there a challenge with reminding you that, or did you see that as a difference?
Yeah, at first, I thought, this is, and I'll be honest, I thought, this is some exercise, right? Because I was speaking it out loud, and, my son still lives with us, and he's looking at me, what are you doing? But it is speaking those words out loud so I can hear myself. And the more I did it, the more comfortable I was with it. And the more I believed in it. Like I said, I now, when I'm doing something else, I hear those words now in my head instead of some of the negative things that go on. So, and it's helping me stay excited. At first, I thought it was kind of hokey. I'll be honest. But now
I don't blame you at all.
Right. But now I'm feeling more comfortable with it. And it's keeping me on my toes, if you know what I mean, excited and looking forward to our journey.
Excellent. Good. All right. So I'm really excited to see what actually has what life has in store for you. You're intentionally creating it. And this is just, see you next time sort of thing. And I'm sure that anyone watching this video or listening to this as a podcast in the future will be excited to have you back and catch up and see and give us some updates.
Sure. That'd be great.
Looking forward to it.
So once again, Tom and Annmarie, thank you so much for playing the Act As If game with me. Once again, I'm Coach Roel, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Okay, we'll see you.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
You too.
Okay, bye.
You've been listening to the Act As If podcast with Coach Roel. Real life success stories in business and investing as they happen.